In this guitar tutorial, I'll be teaching you my arrangement, my fingerstyle arrangement of the popular Latin jazz tune Blue Bossa. It was originally written and is often performed in C minor, but I've transposed it up to E minor because it's a really good guitar key. If you'd like to download my guitar arrangements and compositions that I share on this channel, you can join my LGM members program with the link above. Let's get stuck in. So we'll go through the form twice. The first time is a bit more ad-lib with the melody in the bass, and then the second time is a more up-tempo Latin groove. So let's start with the first two bars. Okay, so we have these open strings, first and second strings, just playing crotchets, and this just keeps the tempo going. And we are playing in E minor, so this is kind of a nice way to flesh out the chord. And we have the melody. They have the melody there, which is mostly played by the thumb. Has quite a classical sound. Now the second chord is normally A minor, but we're going to play a C major 7 here, and then go to an A diminished. And this is a little bit of it's a bit of chord substitution I've done here, just to allow me to play this bass melody. So we're going to go C major 7. Is anticipated, then we're going to strum that chord or roll it. So that's the first 4 bars. Next 4 bars we're going to go again. We've got this top chord crotchet movement. In this case we've got an F sharp half diminished, which is actually the regular chord, and it goes to a B7. Normally it's a B minor, but again, a bit of chord substitution for this intro. So we're going to go, we're going to play the bass melody, but the bass, but the melody's on the third string. So we're going to, so what I would play initially, the chord's going to be played like this, and then bring your thumb down to here. Go to the D sharp, and then we have our B7 chord, C. Now the melody is there, but we're going to roll that chord. Melody, 7th fret and 5th fret on the D string. So that's all fairly straightforward. Sometimes the melody is inside the chord, so you just sort of have to try and bring that out. But don't worry too much about that. It all kind of works in a textural sort of way. As I mentioned, it's quite ad-lib, so you've got plenty of time to kind of make it musical. And I've put that little arrow there because you have this, which gives you a chance to phrase it a bit. When I mean phrases, I mean about connecting the notes, usually in a kind of a crescendo way, but we are going down, so you could decide to either go crescendo or diminuendo as you decide. The main thing is that it kind of has a continuity. All right, the next 4 bars. So we've just played the E minor. All right, then we go to G minor. Let's play the next 4 bars. Okay, so it starts off with the melody now going from G, F, E, D, C over a G minor chord. So you're going to have to hold that bar like this. When you get to here, you have to move it to there. So you're going to have to bar this initially with the first finger, and then shift to 3rd finger bar. And then we go to our what we call a C9 chord. Bass moving down. Okay, you could also use these 3 fingers, so you could go, well, you could go like that. Problem is, you'd have to do that, which is a bit awkward. So I really encourage you to just flatten out that third finger, which is quite a normal thing to do. The ninth chord is a very common chord, so you should be able to manage that. Keeping that C going, and then B flat, A sharp, and then, so this is a very dissonant sounding chord, but you don't hold that for very long. And then I add the bass after, and that kind of completes, and I find that it gives you a little bit of a resolution at the end. So if you go, it can be quite bass heavy, so you just have to be a little bit mindful of that. It all makes sense once you play the F. And there are some longer notes in the second bar of each of these 4-bar phrases, so you need to keep holding them, and also the final semi-breve, that needs to be held with that rolling underneath. All right, then we go. Okay, so this is our A minor. Now you could call it a B7 or a D sharp diminished. And this is again very ad lib. And then we go back to, this is that theme, which I keep coming back to. It's just a nice thing to come back to. Sort of keeps a certain uniformity to this arrangement. And then we finish on the E minor. All right, then we're going to go. All right, so what's happening here is melody now on the first string, and we have the accompaniment. Bit of a Latin groove there. And I'm going to try and keep that going for the rest of the piece with this. So let's do that bar again. So obviously we're going to have to bring our first finger to play the B, and that happens here. Like that. And you just leave that first finger there. And then we're going to go, and then A minor 7. Like that, and then we're going to go to the 5th position. So we have to go bass, so A. Main thing is that you're playing what's written without trying to work it out in your head, because it fits. And it's a quick shift from there to there. So that's a little bit something you have to practice, and I would just encourage you to practice that bar on its own. Like that. Now the way I've actually written it is on the beat, on the 4th beat to play the chord, but I actually do like playing it on the 3 and. Like that. Or you could play it. And because you're already in 5th position, you can just immediately go to the D7 there. Okay, so we're going to go with the A anticipated. So far we've managed to keep that bass going on. And then we're going to go to F sharp half diminished, or F sharp minor 7 flat 5. Again, we're going to have to change halfway through the bar. Like that. Really this is an A minor 7, so it's a little bit of a chord sub halfway through the bar. The main thing is we get that melody going. Like that, okay? Now the next line we have a B7 with a sharp 9, our Jimi Hendrix chord. The sharp 5 doesn't really come into it because we're not playing an F, so we're just going to call it a B7 sharp 9. So we're going to go again, anticipated D. In this case, yeah, sort of more of an open B minor 7 chord. Okay, and back to our E minor. Okay, and then G minor. Rather than playing a bar here, we're actually going to play it like this. This is so we can bring our first finger to the F here. So we're going to go like that. Bit of a pivot. All right, and then anticipate the C. We're going to go to C7. And this is pretty straightforward because it's all there. Like that, and then hold the B flat with your 4th finger. Like that. All right, and that's our F major 7. Underneath we go like that. So if you put it all together, and you don't have to have the bar down straight away, but you definitely have to have it down by the time you get to the C. So, and it's a pivot as well. You need to sort of bar it at that point, otherwise you're going to run out of fingers. So probably one of the harder bar chords to play like that. Probably work on your finger strength. Okay, and then rather than hold, yeah, so we do that. And then what we're going to do here is move to F sharp, and then which is our F sharp half diminished. And what happens here is, rather than playing the C here, we're going to play it here. And I sort of had to think through this, how to play it. It works if you just keep the first finger on F sharp, like this. Like that. And then you can go. Okay? So a little bit fiddly, but it all sort of fits, as you can tell from my recording of it. And I always record the piece first, the performance of it, so you can hear how well it works, and that it's possible. Because sometimes you play through these arrangements, it can feel a bit tricky, but it all kind of has its own. This is the thing about arranging. It really needs a lot of thought as to how to put it all together for classical nylon Latin guitar. All right, so we're just going to do that line again. So we're going to go. So we're going to go from the bar 26. So flatten, second position. So it's, once you sort of worked the fingering out and you've practiced it, it should work really well. I've put there a first time bar, which is a little groove you can also have at the start or at the end, which is a 1-2-5 groove. But the second time round, which is what I do on the recording, I go back to my, then I do it in the bass, and then I do harmonics. So we're going to go. So 12 on the second, this is 4 on 4, then 12 on third string, and then F sharp, and then it's our E minor 9 chord. You can also play an E string. Sometimes I like to sort of fill it in. You don't have to. Or you can put an E there if you want. Nice slow pont, which is playing down here.